Okay, well, I think I'll get started with a short presentation on Tech4Eva while people join. So again, welcome to everyone here online. My name is Simone Theis. I'm the program lead at Tech4Eva by OPFL Innovation Park. So Tech4Eva is the leading innovation platform in Femtech. We were founded in 2021, 5 years ago. So it was OPFL Innovation Park and Groupe Mutuel, a Swiss insurance company that co-founded Tech4Eva. We are a global equity-free program. We support Femtech startups around the world. It's a virtual program, so many of our events are online, like today. And then usually we have our opening and closing conferences, which are hybrid to network. We're now a community of over 8,000 people. This includes 110 startups from 71 countries that we have supported over the last 5 years. These startups are guided by over 40 corporate and industry experts. So what we provide during the program are thematic workshops, visibility at events like today, or partner events. We facilitate investor introductions as well as customer introductions. And yes, finally, we are a community, and we also raise the awareness on Femtech. I just came back from Berlin, Frontiers Health, where we had a Tech4Eva session. It was great to see that there was more interest and more sessions on Femtech in a generic healthcare conference. So maybe one day we won't have to call it Femtech anymore, but we will actually be part of healthcare. So here's our portfolio of 110 startups. Maybe you'll recognize some of the logos. It shows a widespread in subsectors. So we have solutions in menstrual health, reproductive health, but also women-specific diseases, or more like science-based startups in oncology and prevention, and then also menopause and general health. So as I said, Tech4Eva is not just an accelerator. We're building a movement. Over the last 5 years, we have raised awareness on Femtech. We have facilitated over 500 investor introductions and over 1,000 mentor startup meetings, hosted over 180 events, mostly online, but also hybrid. And then the alumni have fundraised over 220 million over the last 4 to 5 years. I'm still gathering the newest numbers for this year. And we've had 5 startup acquisitions, the latest one being VO Healthcare that was acquired by Ultrahuman. We are very lucky to have many network partners that help us amplify the voice of Tech4Eva, including today hosting. We have someone from Foreground Capital, as well as someone from Convergence Partners. Here you can see the logos of this year's cohort. So we have 16 startups from 11 countries. So we will hear from them shortly. I will now leave the floor and introduce Ivanka de Souza from Foreground Capital. She will have a short introduction of their fund, and then we will go into the pitching session. So I'll stop sharing my screen so Ivanka can share hers. So the floor is yours, Ivanka. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Simone, for the introduction. And hello, everybody. I'm really delighted to represent Foreground Capital today and share more about our investment thesis. As mentioned, I'm Ivanka de Souza. I am an investment associate with Foreground. I recently joined a couple of months ago. And I'm also excited to moderate the startup showcase session. Thank you for having me. So Foreground Capital is women's health dedicated investment fund, and our mission really is to advance transformative solutions and deliver meaningful impact across the spectrum of women's health. And we bring forward our 5-year track record at RH Capital, where the team was previously, where we built one of the largest and most impactful portfolios in the women's health space. So, I think we can all agree that women's health represents one of the most underinvested and yet high potential areas of healthcare, with large patient population sizes, tremendous unmet medical need, and a rapidly growing innovation pipeline. This is a market that's ripe for investment. And at Foreground, we are combining our deep technical and sector expertise as well as our networks to invest in seed and Series A stage companies, with the ability to catalyze and lead rounds and capture outsized returns in the space. Now, to underscore the momentum that the women's health space has been experiencing, you can see that despite the broader downturn in venture capital, women's health investment actually increased more than threefold since 2019, representing $2.6 billion in 2024. And yet there's still, a lot of untapped potential because of all the healthcare VC dollars. Women's health still only represents about 4.5% of that. And we're also seeing major validation from major exits and acquisitions in the space, which is great, really underscoring the conviction in the market, the potential for strong returns as well. So this is, as examples, we have menopause therapeutics acquisitions by Bayer, as well as acquisitions in reproductive biology and maternal health by Cooper Surgical, Hologic, and Organon, really highlighting the strong market demand in the space. And also, which is really great and great validation of the building of the space and how each segment builds on each other, we're seeing increased investment activity across the life sciences as well. And this is really driven by advances in reproductive biology, as well as oncology and precision diagnostics, really driving interest and investment in early stage companies. And so, as I mentioned, we previously the team was at RH Capital, and we are currently at Foreground managing RH Capital Funds 1 and 2. And this portfolio spans maternal health, contraception, pelvic health, reproductive health, and women's oncology, to name a few. And shout out to Tech4Eva, where one of our portfolio companies, Testmate, got its start in the program. So at Foreground Capital, we are on Fund 3. We're currently raising for our third fund, and we have expanded our aperture in terms of our investment thesis. So previously at RH Capital, we focused on conditions that exclusively affected women, and at Foreground, we're expanding that to include conditions that disproportionately affect women, such as autoimmune disease, bone health, and Alzheimer's disease, as well as conditions that differently affect women, such as heart health and diabetes. And where we invest broadly across healthcare segments, with a particular focus on biopharma devices, diagnostics, and digital health. And we also, for our investments, we stringently stick to our impact pillars, where we need to see each investment deliver transformative innovation, improve access for historically underserved communities through their products and product strategy, and also deliver affordable products and have the capacity to drive systemic change. This is our team. Collectively, we have 60 years of experience in healthcare, venture capital, finance, clinical medicine, and translational biology, and we are excited to apply this multidisciplinary lens to the space. And finally, I'll just end on the fact that the investment ecosystem in women's health is really expanding. So we have the dedicated women's health specialty funds like Foreground Capital, Kidron, Amboy Street Ventures, and Avestria, but we're also seeing more generalist funds develop a women's health thesis, as well as strategics developing a women's health thesis, which really underscores the conviction in the space and the momentum in the space. And I'll leave it at that and just say that, you know, for all the investors in the room who are new to women's health, welcome. And also thank you very much to Tech4Eva for your leadership in this space and your cultivation of the ecosystem. It's much needed and much appreciated. And I'll stop sharing with that, and we can transition to our startup showcase.
Thank you, Ivanka. Let me just quickly go back to the slide deck. So Ivanka is going to present 8 startups in the reproductive, maternal health, and healthy aging categories. So Ivanka.
Yeah. So first up, we have Zena, which is
yeah. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
First up, we have Zena, which is a B2B AI-powered precision surgery solution for improved mapping and planning of surgeries, presented by Mo Taha.
Yeah, hi. I'm Zoe. I'm actually the CEO and founder of Zena, and I'm replacing Mo for today. I actually had to catch a plane, but I decided to do the pitch anyway. So at Zena, we are building an AI co-pilot for soft tissue surgeries, actually targeting 70 million surgeries annually in the US, and starting from gynecology as our growing market. It all started after I spent 10 days in the hospital following an endometriosis surgery. So my doctors, of course, missed my endometriosis, which we know is a big problem currently. But as a result, I ended up having the wrong surgery and complications, as well as needed a repeat surgery just a year later. So why did this happen? Surgery today is like flying an airplane with just a paper map, so essentially blind. So we have the best robots for surgery, but no intelligence layer. As a result, 1 in 3 surgeries fail, costing more than $60 billion due to completely preventable errors. So at Zena, we are changing that. We are building an AI copilot with interactive 3D visualizations that shows the surgeons exactly where the disease is located, where to enter, and where to cut, so that they can reduce the time, complications, and repeat surgeries that are happening today. And we are assisting surgeons end-to-end in the workflow. So for example, if my surgeon had Zena, she could know, for example, if there is infiltration into the bowels, so she could plan for a colorectal surgeon to be present during the surgery, as well as counsel me before the surgery in order to get the proper consent, and then track the disease, track if the disease has been correctly removed during the surgery intraoperatively. So we are building patented multimodal AI, incorporating not only imaging, but also clinical information and videos on top of a 50,000 proprietary data set in gynecology, where, by the way, no publicly available data sets exist. As Zena is used in more surgeries, we create a flywheel of validated data that makes our AI smarter and thus creates an unbeatable moat. And we are already seeing great results in pilot studies. So our product has already been used in more than 20 live surgeries, where we saw a 91% correlation to surgical findings. And in some cases, the doctors even changed the surgical decisions after using Zena. And they are also seeing an impact on the savings with respect to surgical time. So we are now launching clinical studies in the US at places like UC San Diego and Mary Washington. Actually, this week, we just had 2 speaker presentations at the leading gynecology surgeon conference. And we have surgeons from top US institutions like UCSF, Baylor, Northwell, really eager to pilot our product. So one of our surgeons in the pilot, for example, say that they would only like to use Zena from now on, instead of scrolling through hundreds of MRI slices or reading just a text-based report where they have to mentally reconstruct the anatomy to know what to expect. So why is this the right moment? So as surgical robotics hardware is being commoditized, and there is a big leap in the vision AI algorithms, There's also a big gap when it comes to the workforce shortage that hospitals are facing. And this is the right time also because there are new billing codes now available that covers INA for digitizing surgery. Sorry. So let's look at the landscape of precision surgery currently. So on one hand, there are basic 3D visualization solutions, like from Carstars and Johnson & Johnson, as well as some smaller companies which focus broadly on many organs and are not disease-specific. And on the other hand, you have solutions that are delivering clinical impact in the OR, but are super focused on specific areas like the spine, which are hard tissue, and the field is now coming to soft tissue surgeries. And this is where we see a clear advantage in being the first to market in gynecology space. And gynecology procedure volumes, by the way, are huge, being the third highest in laparoscopic or robotic surgeries. So our business model is a B2B pay-per-use solution, where we already have a possibility to get reimbursement from insurance billing codes. And we would be, so the best part is that hospitals actually making money and getting 4 to 5x ROI when they are paying us or when we are getting paid. So with respect to our go-to-market, we are prioritizing distribution from the get-go, even as we build out our product for delivering more value over time and expanding to new indications even beyond endometriosis, like ovarian cancer, prostate cancer, and rectal cancers. And we are starting with early adopters who are KOLs at private clinics, high-volume academic centers, and we would then scale through surgeon referrals as well as partnerships with OEMs like Intuitive Surgicals, Medtronics of the world. And we have a top-notch team to deliver this vision. So I am Zoe. I'm a biomedical scientist with more than 15 years of experience in both pharma companies like Roche and AbbVie, as well as in academia. Dipali, our female CTO, is a Stanford Biodesign alum who has worked in medtech companies like Johnson & Johnson. And in her last startup, she built a defense tech product, which is an explosive trace detector. And Mo, our COO, is a serial founder, has already built a fertility AI company in the past, and taking it from scratch to almost Series A. Korean, our part-time chief medical officer, is a top US surgeon who trains other surgeons in gynecology surgeries and really sees the immense value of our tech.
You're out of time.
So yeah, we are currently not fundraising, but we'll be opening our round soon and would love to talk to you about building the future of surgery. Thank you.
Thank you. Since you have to leave, I think if there are any questions, we'll take that now.
Can you share a bit about the kind of customer acquisition process in terms of getting the hospital set up, and what's your general timeline from, a contract to getting established in the surgical suite?
So are you talking about the hospital sales time, or actually to get to a new customer?
The sales time.
Yeah, so that's always tricky, and it depends. It depends on the hospital type, and it differs from hospital to hospital. So in the beginning, of course, we have been spending a lot of time. So we had to spend like 3 to 6 months in order to get the first hospitals ready. But we expect this time to then reduce as we go ahead, because we would then learn a lot about how to really get to the right stakeholders and what to offer them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so currently we are seeing like 3 to 6 months.
Thank you.
Okay. So you had another question, Ivanka?
No, I'm all set. All right. Thank you, Sui.
Okay, thank you.
Next up, we have Woost, which is a menstrual blood test that will revolutionize the diagnosis of conditions such as PCOS, presented by Melise Ekinci.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Hello everyone, my name is Melis and I am the founder of Woost, and our mission is to support women everywhere for them to take control of their gynecological health journey. And my story started as many before. Sorry, I think do you guys see another slide?
No, advancing.
We had this issue last time. Okay, here we go. I found it. Sorry. Yeah, my story started as many before. I was very young when I first experienced some symptoms, and then I went to a doctor for help, as anyone would. Unfortunately, I was immediately dismissed and told that everything was normal. And the cycle kind of continued again and again until I was finally diagnosed with polycystic ovary syndrome, or PCOS. For me, it was kind of a relief to know what was going on, but unfortunately, it was left at that. It was nothing but just a label, as there was no specific treatment plans for me afterwards. And my story is reflected in so many millions of women as well. Well, why is it so important? PCOS, or polycystic ovary syndrome, it's an ovarian dysfunction. It has a direct correlation to infertility, but also to many other life-threatening diseases. So for women, it's so important to get an earlier diagnosis to prevent these from happening and to increase the overall quality of life. We have massive pressure on our healthcare systems right now. This is why this is massively underdiagnosed and costs about $1 billion per year here in the NHS, here in the UK where I'm based. So it would obviously help our healthcare systems, but also boost the economy because we are keeping women longer in the workforce. So the answer to this is with Woost. It's an at-home blood test to track biomarkers in menstrual blood for the detection and management of the disease. So how it would work, that anyone would be able to sign up to our digital platform. They would then be able to order the test. They can collect their blood and perform the test at the comfort of their homes. That will display specific biomarkers present. They can scan the test, get instant results, and finally understand what's going on and get the support they need. But it's not ending there. They will be able to track their health. So my story would have been totally different. I still would have had some symptoms. The first thing what everyone does, grab the phone and try look for information, which is already a big barrier in women's health as there's a lot of misinformation. They would find us, they would give us proper peer-reviewed information, then we would do a pre-screening, which then leads to the screening test. We would track it for a while to then lead to an earlier diagnosis. This would be an assist with the clinicians. But my story would not end here as it has ended now. I would be able to use this to monitor the progression of the disease, to look at intervention if it's actually improving the disease, but also to look at prognosis, understanding if I'm predisposed to have diabetes or not. Well, our unique proposition is also the database around this. We are collecting biochemical data for menstrual blood, but also phenotypic data, patient history data, and we're combining that together. That means we have access to kind of understand the disease further, come up with no biomarkers, or look at personalized treatment options. Many might have heard that 1 in 10 or 1 in 5 women suffer from PCOS. That shows us a massive market opportunity. But the key number that I want you to remember is that 70% of women who have PCOS currently are undiagnosed. That there are 6.5 million women in the UK alone that are suffering from the consequence of the disease, not knowing that they have the disease. But that also means our market size is actually so much larger than previously thought. There are 3 components to our company. Mainly, we are a menstrual blood testing company. We have received a research grant from the government to start the very first menstrual blood clinical study to collect menstrual blood and venous blood to analyze PCOS, which we had launched this year. It's called the Wonder Study. So we work with the government, we work with the NHS and charities around it. We also collaborated with a university in the UK to develop a machine learning assisted pre-screening of symptoms for PCOS diagnosis. Is very important to align the symptoms, the phenotypes with the actual test. And we have a prototype on the medical device as well.
During Christmas. Bye-bye.
So sorry, I think someone has the mic on. We also have a medical device that we have a prototype on, and we have a partner that wants to bring it into market. They're already selling to Boots and Tesco and Müller, which would be the third part. But if you look at our competitors, they're mainly venous blood testing in lab, at home collection in lab, or there are some companies in menstrual blood testing in lab as well. We would be truly non-invasive and we would standardize to the cycle, but we will also be real-time and a proper point of care test and affordable. So that puts us in a very unique position. Well, over the years, since I started the company, I've been part of many programs, and the biggest kind of key experience I had this year was to be invited to the parliament to speak about this issue as well and to introduce our company. I am the founder of the company, but I already worked in different startups as well, so I kind of know what it takes to bring an idea from its ideations all the way to market readiness, and I have a great support system around me for that as well. So it all started with just an idea in my bedroom, and over the years with the research grants, we have now a prototype on the test, and we have the app that we're developing and the clinical study. Over the next few years, the main thing is to expand the clinical study into larger database, get a larger database, and then optimize the test for launch. We are fundraising. Actually, we are going to do our soft launch next month, but we're looking for 1.2 million for the round to mainly expand the clinical study, bring it into the NHS and work with the clinicians there, and then optimize the blood to the test to a point that we can validate it in clinics and launch the app.
You're out of time, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'm already done as well. Well, the vision is to take over the world. I mean, it's not, it's actually to make sure that women are being understood in this world as well and being treated. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Are there any questions?
Yeah.
I think we'll save the questions for the end. If we can just do the first group now.
Sure.
The next presentation.
So next we have LACO, which is an improved sustainable vacuum extractor that improves maternal and child health outcomes, presented by Drex Dresden.
Yes. Do you see? Yeah, you see me nice. Hi, I'm Dee, co-founder of LICO, and as LICO, we do not design for waste, but we innovate for sustainability and accessibility. And it is our vision to become the global leader in reusable medical devices for maternal and newborn health. And we believe that by doing so, we can both save lives and the planet. So why reusables? Well, this is a photo of baby Faye, born in the Dutch hospital, surrounded by all the waste created during her hospital births. And these disposables are a big problem. They come at a price. Every year, we throw away for 20 billion euros of disposables, which are solely used in maternal and newborn health, and which are only used once. And this also has a huge impact on the environment. In the Netherlands alone, 4% of the total waste stream comes from the healthcare sector. And moreover, these disposables limit the access to healthcare worldwide due to a high price per use and a high dependency on an often fragile supply chain. And that is why at LICO, we develop reusable medical tools. We're the first product, Vela, used to perform vacuum extraction, a procedure used in complicated birth to improve outcomes for mother and child. Globally, vacuum extraction has clinically proven to reduce mortality, and mothers recommend it. A case study from Uganda showed that an increase of the use of vacuum extraction of only 2% led to a decrease of intrapartum stillbirths of almost a quarter. But unfortunately, the current vacuum pumps are outdated. The gold standard is a disposable. And while there are reusable alternatives, they are costly, take long to prepare, make a lot of noise, or require multiple operators. And that is why we developed Vela, the first fully reusable, patient and user-friendly vacuum pump. It took our team 4 years of extensive engineering with over 200 end users worldwide to develop a pump which has all essential functionalities, but can also easily be taken apart for sterilization and safe reuse. Due to the reusable character, we can save costs by 25% for a Dutch hospital, reduce waste by 98%, and improve access to safe births worldwide. We're not the only ones believing in Vela. We received a donation from a wholesale distributor active in low and middle income countries. 7 Dutch hospitals are lined up to purchase Vela in the beginning of next year and join our pilot study. And we signed 16 letters of intent with EU-based distributors, of whom 1 already placed a pre-order. The LICO team exists out of an ambitious team working closely with experienced experts in gynecology, innovation, technical development, certification, and business development. And at this moment in time, we're closing our 500,000 euros CLA round with limited room available to top us. up this round. We have a great momentum as we are on track to reach CE certification in March 2025, and we're starting clinical validations with leading hospitals in the Netherlands, and are preparing for scale and Series A in 2026. So, do you want to join us in saving lives and the planet? Please let me know.
Thank you, Dee. Next, we have Oasicare with a medical device to prevent perineal tears and injuries during vaginal births, presented by Charlotte Wiedan.
Yes, hello everyone. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. So my name is Charlotte and I'm the business development lead of Oasicare. And at Oasicare, we are developing a medical device to prevent perineal tears. Now my screen doesn't want to go to, perfect. I just needed some time to get into it. So we are working with perineal tears. And for the ones of you who are not familiar with perineal tears, which should probably be the women that are not mothers and the men in the room, it's the tearing of skin tissue and muscles during vaginal birth. And around 85% of women that give vaginal birth will actually experience this. Unfortunately, we don't talk about it enough, but it's a huge problem. And especially because women suffer from a range of consequences after birth, both immediately, such as suturing and pain and infection, of course, but also long-term, such as incontinence, sexual dysfunction, and prolapse. So to solve this, we are developing a medical device that by two main functions actually distribute the forces that come from the baby's head, which is what causes these tears. And it does that by mechanically inside the vaginal canal, actually spreading the forces, and on the outside of the perineum using adhesives to kind of keep the skin intact. In the lab and in simulations, we're able to show that we can reduce the stress peaks of the tissue with 30%. And we're currently now validating in the hospital also what this will mean in efficacy in real births. We are, of course, focusing on Europe as a first market, since this is where we are now. We are currently testing in 2 hospitals in Denmark, where we are up in around 40 births, and we are aiming for 100 before the end of this year. That's very ambitious, but we hope we will reach that, where we have validated the product market fit really well with the hospitals, and they're very committed to keep on working with us. And also we're currently mapping out our implementation study that will come in the next year. After Europe, we're very interested in India. It has 25 million births per year, so only that is a huge thing, but they also have 44,000 private hospitals that actually accept the CE mark. And as we all know, going to the market, we need CE mark or some form of regulatory approval. And on that part, we're doing really well. So we are expecting our CE mark at the end of this year or beginning of the next, so we can actually start launching and using our product in clinical practice. And as soon as we have gotten our CE mark, we're launching here in the EU, and we have around 5 hospitals in discussions now to do implementation pilots starting from January next year. And we also want to do a pilot in India to kind of validate the product market fit in the market. And then we will also start kind of commercialization discussions with distributors to set that up. To do this, we got our team, and we are a team of engineers, designers, and clinicians, and other experts in the fields. And together, we are Oasicare. And our mission is really to revolutionize women's health during and after childbirth. We're not currently fundraising, but we will start our next round in spring, where we will be raising for our go-to-market in Europe and also upscaling of our production. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Charlotte. And next, we have Marta Marciniak from Powerly, which provides mental well-being support for happy and healthy pregnancy and postpartum.
Yeah, thank you so much. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Hi again. My name is Marta Marciniak, and I'm really happy that I can present Powerly to you today. And do you know that up to 40% of women experience extremely high stress during pregnancy? And up to 20% of new mothers suffer from postpartum depression, and 35% of them suffer from even less known postpartum anxiety. And of course, all of those problems lead to preterm birth, low birth weight of a child, and worse bond between mother and a child, but also between mother, child, and their whole environment, which then leads to disrupted development of the baby. And there is really a huge need for support. As you know now, there are over 4 million of new moms in Europe each year, and over 1,650,000 of them experience high stress during pregnancy. And of course, in the whole world, those numbers are even higher. This is why we developed Powerly, which is a mobile app offering a synergistic effect of various therapeutic strategies. And we offer really a wide range of those strategies. All of them are cognitive behavioral therapy based. And what's so unique about Powerly is that it has an algorithm that ensures that we deliver the right support at the right time and to the right person. And it also means that Powerly is science-based, so we include only evidence-informed psychological techniques in our app. We hope that it's effective. We are currently testing it in the international randomized clinical trial. So if you know anyone who speaks English and German and would like to participate in our study, feel free to have them reach out to us. But Powerly is also widely consulted. We spoke to 19 women from 12 countries with psychiatrists, psychologists, and many other specialists who came together to provide this safe and efficient support. And from the client or the user perspective, the app is also confidential, meaning that women can share only as much information as they want, but it's also highly adaptive. So the algorithm is sensitive to rapid changes in mood of the expectant mother. And at the same time, it's still personalized. So women can choose their own avatar, and we adjust the content to their needs, but also to the stage of the pregnancy. And at the same time, timing to enter the market is perfect. Almost 80% of women already use pregnancy-related apps when they're pregnant. And of course, now people born in the late 90s and early 2000s enter their reproductive age, and they are very technology fluent. So we believe they will even increase that rate. And as you can see on the right side, we also do not have that much direct competition. So it's really a good time to enter this market. And so far, we are focusing on B2B2C strategy. So we would like to offer our app as an additional benefit for private clinics, patients, insurance companies, and so on. But of course, we are also considering other options. And with digital market, there are really many possibilities here. And we have already raised almost $300,000 in the pre-seed series. It allowed us to build an MVP, launch data collection for the clinical trial. Powerly is already available in the App Store, but now we are looking for around the same amount for further product development, for marketing, sales, and of course, app maintenance. And we have a really great team with diverse expertise, but also one goal to really deliver Powerly to the right people at the right time. And I know that many of investors ask about future outlook. Pregnancy is just 9 months. So we, of course, are aiming to keep our customers for longer. That's why we are currently already developing modules focused on infertility, miscarriage, but also couple support after the child is already born, so that we can engage people much earlier, before they are pregnant, but also after they are pregnant, and we can also then target men. So there is many exciting opportunities for us for the development, and I invite all of you for direct contact, but also to visit our website. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marta. Next, we have Raj Malhotra presenting SmartWeave, which is developing HeraWeave, a therapeutic wearable device for pelvic organ prolapse.
Awesome. Thanks very much. Very nice to be here and very much appreciate the opportunity. We, SmartWeave, are a company that's very much in the transition from that women's health and femtech is going through from reproductive to regenerative health. And we are part of that big arc that is now going to shape, in our view, the next generation of femtech. We are starting out with a condition that afflicts almost 1 in 3 postmenopausal women, which is, of course, around incontinence and in some cases around prolapse. But it is, after cardiac and diabetes, the 3rd most chronic condition that afflicts women across the world and causes a very sizable economic burden. So the markets are for treatments are quite large, in the certainly in the tens of billions of dollars. And we come about our solutions with a view to completely changing how previous generations of approaches have solved for these problems. And our solution is much more personalized and intelligent in terms of the way we package therapeutics and delivery mechanisms. And so the approach starts with actually generating a twin of the patient's anatomical and even genomic characteristics, and then using AIs to customize therapeutics, which are then laced into different forms of scaffolds, which can be hydrogel, which can, in certain cases, be physical biomaterials that are, not in a gel-like substrate, and those are then implanted surgically for achieving care. And so the result of this is that the therapeutic functions as a smart therapeutic that's tuned to the patient's body, and it allows you to achieve regenerative approaches. So effectively, instead of simply trying to repair tissue, you're actually regrowing tissue. And that's, of course, a miracle of modern medicine, because it would change how the standard of care really evolves in these sorts of conditions. So these are the products that we are initially targeting. We have some biocoding devices which will allow us to, in fact, even coat existing generations of devices. And then we have hydrogels and ultimately cell-seeded scaffolds. And these products are part of, as I said, that evolution to regenerative medicine. You can see the comparisons are striking with the current treatments across the board. Our approaches should lead to much better resilience, effectively. So there's much less recurrence and complications as opposed to the current generations of care. And effectively, what we are doing is developing technologies for immune tolerance, because most of the solutions will have embedded in them anti-inflammatory and immune tolerant materials that we are innovating to achieve these transitions. The team is exceptional, includes surgeon scientists from places like Stanford Medicine and bioengineering people from a few different, again, major research institutions in the country. Of course, many of us have had tremendous experience with some of the largest device companies. I myself am a serial founder and have had strong success in past healthcare businesses. As a result, we've been able to secure substantial commitments have secured almost $20 million to fund on de-risk the innovations we talk about, and across a range of prestigious U.S. grant-making institutions, and of course that involve healthcare partners that are also among the top tier of innovators in these areas. The markets, as I mentioned earlier, are very large, and the modalities we are solving for are starting with women's health, but there's every reason to believe that these same regenerative approaches could also be applied in cardiac tissue restoration or orthopedic tissue restoration. So once we get these initial solutions together, the capabilities we'll build will also translate into much larger markets. We already are.
You're out of time,
Sorry.
so if you can wrap up, please.
You bet. So we have revenues already in 7 figures, and are looking to now build and capitalize further. We are asking for about $3 million as we ramp this and really bring in our first round of equity investment into the business. And if anyone's interested, please reach out to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Raj. Next up, we have Veronique Vermeulen from Silata, presenting the mobile app for providing a safe workplace that breaks taboos around topics often overlooked in corporate environments.
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Perfect. Let me share the screen. Okay. There we go. Can you see it? I don't see you anymore. Okay, great. Thank you. Well, thanks for having me. I'm Veronique Vermeulen. I'm the founder of Silata. Being an engineer and having worked in corporate for over 20 years, I always thought I fitted very well in a male-dominated world, until I realized that I was mainly good in adapting myself rather than fitting in. I realized the fundamental need to support women in the workplace and build a workplace where everyone can thrive. Now, you might not believe this number, but in Europe alone, 617 billion is lost on absenteeism, presenteeism, and attrition, mainly due to employees not feeling psychologically safe. They aren't effectively working in diverse teams, and there isn't a right understanding and support around health challenges. Employees may be present in the office, but mentally they're gone, and this costs companies a lot of money. So Google wanted to understand what drives high-performing teams. After studying 180 of their teams, they realized it's not a charismatic leader, it's not those smart individuals, but it's how the team is working together. They found that psychological safety is the #1 driver for high-performing teams. Now, what is psychological safety? It means that every employee dares to speak up about what mistakes they made or what crazy idea they have without the fear of negative consequences. And thus the team is more creative, more engaged, and more productive. And that is why we create psychological safe work environments where employees are educated on taboo health topics like fertility, menopause, and mental health. So there's more compassion and understanding for each other. So secondly, we are having our first prototype of the Health Companion. This Health Companion is not only there for employees to vent frustrations and get support, it also detects early on the health issues that are often missed. Also, the leadership will receive, based on fully anonymous dashboard, an understanding of how psychologically safe the work environment is. So how engaged are their people? So how stressed and motivated are they? And what will happen if they do not take action? Our secret sauce, we start with a strong knowledge in AI and a state-of-the-art technology on anonymizing and protecting employee data. It's our team, it's our clients, and the proof that we get from partnerships with strong universities and leading organizations like UN Women. We already received several awards, and we are aligned with several sustainable development goals. And the results speak for themselves. 92% of the participants that are going through our programs feel more psychologically safe, and 93% is more engaged. And that is why more than 70% of our companies return for more. Now, the field, there are different players, though there's no one who's offering both education and specific health issues in the workplace. So we have the SaaS model. It's a subscription model where the price is depending on the number of users. So more users, the cheaper it gets per user. We're currently raising $500,000, mainly to further develop the Health Companion, and our focus is on continuing creating awareness, education, and support in the workplace that starts building a knowledge base to reduce the knowledge gap in women's health and prove the effectiveness through scientific studies. We have a super passionate team that works together and empowers each other, and we're very proud of the feedback that we receive from our clients, but even more so from the people who went through our programs. So we're very excited to hear your thoughts and continue the conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And last but not least, we have MenoQueen, presented by Petra Stute. And MenoQueen is a B2C platform offering curated content, tools, and a safe community space to understand menopause.
Hello. So, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. So, hi, my name is Elena Pavicic. I'm a medical doctor at the University Hospital of Bern, Department of Gynecology, and I'm here today on behalf of Petra Stute, and I'm very happy to introduce to you MenoQueens, your partner through menopause. By 2026, 1 billion women worldwide will be in menopause, yet most of them face a severe lack of structured support and education. Current solutions are fragmented. Women and healthcare professionals alike struggle to find guidance. And on top of that, stigma and misinformation make it even harder for women to navigate this crucial life stage. Our solution is MenoQueens. MenoQueens is the first integrated digital menopause ecosystem. We bring together women, healthcare professionals, researchers, and industry leaders on one platform. Our services include the following: Meno Educations, expert-led webinars, Meno Science, a research hub that connects scientists and promotes clinical studies, the Meno School, an accredited training program for gynecologists and healthcare providers, the Meno Blog, and the MenoQueens podcasts. And what makes MenoQueens unique is the combination of evidence-based educations developed by Europe's leading menopause expert, Professor Petra Stute, a strong backing from universities, hospitals, pharma partners. MenoQueens is also a registered brand and trademarked platform, ensuring credibility and exclusivity. And most importantly, we're the only platform that seamlessly integrates knowledge, training, research, and community for the entire menopause journey. Just very quickly, this is our team. It's led by Petra Stute, and she's also the founder of the only Swiss certified menopause center. Yes, and other physicians as well as experts from business and marketing. Our business plan is that as a registered non-profit organization, our revenues come from licensing through the Meno Science, part, then through professional memberships for the accredited training, sponsorships and donations from medical and corporate partners, and yes, this all ensures that both sustainability and wide accessibility are met. Regarding the roadmaps and next steps, the platform was launched in 2024. In 2025, we secured more research collaborations, but also collaborations from the pharma industry, and further partnerships and memberships. And for 2026, we aim to expand into broader European markets, increasing memberships, but also licensing agreements. Our key points, key challenges are the further platform development and also securing a sustainable financial security. So MenoQueens is here to change how menopause is understood and managed, with science, education, and community at the core. And we invite you to join us in building a trusted digital home for over 1 billion women worldwide. We are now seeking strategic partners and investors who share our visions to scale our platform, expand across Europe, and empower women and healthcare professionals with credible science-based solutions. And together we can turn this global challenge into a global opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Elena. And round of applause to all of the presenters, and thank you for your work in this space, and congratulations on your traction thus far. We will open it up for questions at this time. Feel free to just shout out a question or raise your hand or put it in the chat and I can read it.
Maybe I can start. I have a question for Melis. It's a great. Yeah, first of all, everyone had a great presentation, extremely interesting solutions. But yeah, Melis, the question for you: the solution that you are developing for menstrual blood testing, is it only for PCOS, or can it also be used for other conditions in the future? Are you already thinking about this? And if yes, what would be those conditions that you are considering?
Yeah, I see PCOS as a case study or the entry point, because it's a perfect disease to build the logistical workflow on menstrual blood testing as well as the standardization of it. So we are seen as a menstrual blood testing for health, for any gynecological conditions. So we are starting with PCOS. We are exploring heavy menstrual bleeding markers. We are also exploring potential fibroids markers as well. So yes, we will be expanding to other disease areas. Also, we looked into HPV screening and and STIs as well. PCOS has just the biggest need in my eyes, and it's just the perfect case in launching and getting into a market. Every little bit of menstrual blood I'm collecting in my study, I am having my own biobank for future exploratory research. I am already thinking of every component that I can keep for expansion, because the key barrier here is the menstrual blood collection, as we know. But the application and the analysis actually will be expanded.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We have a question from Kemi about what menstrual biomarkers you are looking at, Melis.
Yeah, we are in the process of filing for IP, so I'm going to be very, very detailed. But what I can say is the very first thing in menstrual blood research, what we're doing is translating guidelines, what we already know in PCOS, onto menstrual blood, because that's already in itself a major challenge, because we want to standardize testing. But we are obviously expanding the panel beyond of what we know from the clinical guidelines. Would that be okay? I think I'll leave it at that.
Definitely. And just a question from me around, in PCOS, there's anovulation and irregular menstrual bleeding, and I'm curious how you're incorporating that into the assessment.
Interestingly, 30% of women who have PCOS actually have irregular or no bleeding. Usually there are 4 subtypes in PCOS, which then can be, it will be tackled depending on the phenotype on whatever they're doing, and it's going to be slightly different. I appreciate we will not be obviously able to help everyone. The people who are not on their period, that's like the most kind of extremist case when they are usually put on the pill to regulate it anyway as the first kind of treatment point. So yeah, that part, you know, we have the health screening, the phenotype. The way we diagnose PCOS is actually we don't need the blood test. Obviously, the blood test is one of the 3 criteria, but we also look into phenotype and we'll go into ultrasound. So we will provide other alternative ways of checking that.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the broader group? I can also speak louder if I can't be heard.
I have a question. Sorry, I've got background noise though. Pictures were absolutely amazing and well done to everyone. My question was for Charlotte, and just understanding what's going to really unlock growth for you, and what do you think is going to be the next accelerator point to really unlock growth?
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much, by the way. I think for us, it's really efficacy numbers. That's the big next thing for us. It's what we hear, you know, every clinician, it's the first thing they want to hear about. And it's something we could, or it's something we have been debating a lot about, how do we actually do that in the best way? Because birth is a very special, complex system. It's not only, you know, it's not standardized. It doesn't look the same from one birth to the next. So we are kind of postponing that until we actually have implementation. So for a lot of people, it sounds weird that we would do implementation before we actually have efficacy numbers, but we do see it as a way more truthful way to actually get efficacy numbers when we are implemented fully in a ward, to then do efficacy measures. So we will be doing real-world evidence study in the summer in one of the hospitals that we are collaborating with, and hopefully from that we will get a lot of good traction. But we are seeing a lot of interest, and we kind of, now the last month, we really got one of the biggest yes kind of that we have had so far, when midwives that are testing it actually go to other midwives and say, you have to try this because it's really working. So for us, it's just, you know, we were crying here in the office. So that was great. And it's really these interactions between midwives that are super important for us, because we know that midwives, it's a special type. They're not clinicians in that sense. They're very human, and they really care about care in a different way. So it's getting those kind of testimonials out there, getting those efficacy numbers in combination. So that, yeah, that's the next thing up.
I think we have time for maybe one more question, or does anyone have a burning question to ask our cohort? All right, if not, I will turn it over to Elena for the next session.
Yes, thank you so much, Ivanka. Hi, everyone. My name is Elena Baltaga. I work with the Convergence Partners, which is a VC firm based in the Zurich area. So as Ivanka very well presented and explained, that they are kind of really focused on women's health. Contrary to their VC, we are not a pure player, meaning that we are not only considering or looking into women's health. We are actually a VC that is focused more on brain health, neurotech, including Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease, of course. And as Ivanka very well explained, some of these diseases actually affect women more than they affect men. So we are also looking into that. We are currently building a women's health vertical. So we are quite new in the area. Obviously, very happy to be collaborating with Tech4Eva and similar platforms. So I don't know if Simone has something to say or wants to start sharing the slides.
No.
Okay, so we are moving into prevention and oncology. And today we have 7 sharp pitches, so coming from 7 interesting startups that each focus on basically cancer detection, cancer treatment for cancer related to women. After that, we will have a Q&A session. So maybe just a note for the audience, drop your questions in the chat as we go. You can already drop your questions. And quick reminder to the founders, you know, we know that you have so many things to say, but obviously we are time limited, so only 5 minutes per founder, so please keep it short. So first up, Mingwei Chen from RefImmune, an advancing cell and gene therapy for solid tumors. They are based in Taiwan. So Mingwei, the screen is yours.
Thank you. I share my screen. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Great. Okay, I'm gonna start it. So hi, I'm Ming. We are RefImmune. RefImmune is a preclinical stage biotech working on novel solution that use your own cell to fight cancer. And can our approach finally defeat cancer? And let's find out. So cancer is terrible. Take this project, our first project, ovarian cancer, as example. It requires too many treatments and cause too much suffering. And even with the most advanced treatment today, more than half patients die within 12 to 16 months. And the traditional engineered cell therapy also cannot treat solid tumor. Take CAR-T as an example. It is really promising in treating liquid tumor, but in solid tumor, CAR-T often fails. Tumors are complex, hard to reach, and can suppress immune cells. And therefore, the world needs a cell therapy that works beyond leukemia. And that's exactly what we are working on. And this is how we do it. Our answer is our novel creation called RAISE-T. It's a novel engineered T cells that not only targets tumor cell precisely, but also reawakens the immune response inside the tumors. It becomes the precision. It combines the precision of BiTEs with the novel activation engines, giving the cell power, persistence, and control without severe side effect. Now we just have to put this construct to patient's T cell. Then we can make a patient raised T cell that can treat patient's solid tumor. And can our approach really do it? Let's find out. So we treat human cancer in mice model. So in these models, our RAISE-T requires only a single treatment. So one time, one treatment at a fraction of a usual dose. So it's about 100-fold less than usual CAR-T dose, and it can eliminate tumor without side effect in those mouse. And it's a kind of data that we have never seen before. And not only ovarian cancer, once we see this data, we immediately repeat the same experiment. And this time we do it in triple negative breast cancer. And our data also shows a promising result can fight triple negative breast cancer at a very low dose. So from these two promising and exciting data, we believe our one treatment can help many patients if we succeed. And of course, beyond the oncology, our platform can also extend to autoimmune disease and even the degenerative disease. We can tune the cell type, the targets, or the activation engine, making it a powerful foundation for partnership with pharma and biotech. And last but not least, our newest non-viral gene knock-in technology take this even further. Basically, we can produce this personalized therapy in one night at a fraction of the cost of a traditional CAR-T. And the same technology can even power both ex vivo and in vivo application. And so we can make the in vivo CAR-T as well, along with the successful of our off-the-shelf RAISE-T. So sometimes patients' T cells are too weak to make the cell therapy. So we can take a health donors to make their cells into raised T cell and then treat patients. So this innovation represent where the science meets the business, a scalable, high-margin models ready to reshape the cell and the gene therapy. So our teams combines over 25 years of cell and gene therapy experience, and we are pioneers who help bring CAR-T to patients. We have built innovations that reach patients before, and we are doing it again with RAISE-T. So right now, we are raising $5 million to complete IND-enabling experiments, the final step before human trials. We aim to obtain in-human data within 18 months, and your investment will be the catalyst to make history. So, can RAISE-T and our novel technology defeat cancer? We believe it can. If you are interested in bringing these transformative therapies to patients, please contact me afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ming. So next is William Linders at Predica Diagnostics, a non-invasive cervical cancer detection solution, and they're based in the Netherlands. William, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. You can see my screen, I suppose?
Yes.
So I'm really happy to present here our solution to solve a medical problem of actually immense global scale, and that is cervical cancer. Cervical cancer is caused by human papillomaviruses, as you all know, but what not many people know is that 80% of all women will experience an HPV infection during their lifetime. And they won't even notice it, because if you are healthy, you clear the infection and no harm done. But this is different for 660,000 women worldwide that do have cervical cancer. And the challenge is to identify these women at the early stage by screening, allowing them to be treated in a timely fashion. So current screening is quite inefficient. Since 2020, most screening programs use HPV testing on cervical smears. Because so many healthy women are positive, this has led to an explosion of unnecessary medical exams, even medical treatments with avoidable costs of 350 million euros worldwide. And importantly, this leads to unnecessary worries, but the program we know now also misses on cervical cancers, and that has led to the strong recommendation by the EU to find other molecular solutions for screening. And that brings me directly to our test, which is our flagship product, Cervicadex. That can be performed simply on a cervical smear to identify women at risk with a much higher accuracy than is currently feasible. It's a unique test with obviously an enormous market potential. We are already building these kits and selling them for research at this moment. So the test is based on a unique and patented sequencing technology platform. Has a very simple protocol, can be done on hundreds of smear samples in one go, and is therefore also very cost effective. All required bioinformatics, and that is important because the technique is next generation sequencing. All required bioinformatics is captured in our unique proprietary software that makes the technology accessible to all labs, also without experience in the NGS field. So implementation, we know from our clinical studies, will lead to a really increase of justified referrals and an enormous decrease of unnecessary referrals, and that is what we are aiming for. So you can see here the steps that we have made since our foundation. We have done performance testing on 2,000 cervical smears. We have implemented the quality management system compliant with ISO, and we have a granted patent. Our challenge now is to get our test certified according to IVDR. And for that, we have an ask of 1.5 million euros. We already have 1.5 million committed by our current investors. We need that for scale up with a QA personnel to get indeed to our CE certificate, and of course to support EU implementation studies. Well, I already mentioned that the market is immense. The screening market has a total accessible market of 7 billion more. We have a conservative estimation of 20% market penetration in the first 4 countries that we are going to target, where we expect already sales of 7 million euros yearly, of which 50% will be margin. Our business model is to sell our certified kits to central screening labs in the EU as a certified product, and also to sell research use tests to the US for them to develop them further to LDT and FDA approved test. So our business model indeed is this sales, and we really invite you investors with the intent to have societal impact with commercially viable tests to contact us to build further this dream of ours to improve cervical cancer screening and eradicate cervical cancer in the end. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, William. Yes, indeed, cervical cancer, big topic, unfortunately. The next one now is Konrad Ancu from GIC Space, which have developed a very smart, innovative speculum for point-of-care screening. They are based in Cameroon. So Konrad, welcome. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I want to confirm, can you see my screen and can you hear me?
Yes and yes.
Okay, perfect. So thank you and good evening, everyone. So my presentation almost follows very closely to Frederica because we have developed a solution that can now provide point-of-care screening targeting 2 big diseases affecting women in sub-Saharan Africa, particularly, one of which is cervical cancer, of course, and the other is called female genital schistosomiasis, a disease still classified as a neglected tropical disease up to date, but affecting up to 56 million women. Now, why are these conditions still a problem up to today for several decades now? First, it's because there are not enough medical specialists to address this type of medical conditions in sub-Saharan Africa. And secondly, the type of equipment which are used and needed to address this type of conditions are not really readily available. Sub-Saharan Africa imports almost all their medical equipment, which are not particularly adapted to the context, particularly in rural areas where this disease burden is the highest. So what have we done? We've decided to come up with a new solution that is adapted to the context, which is a solution that combines the technologies of a speculum and a colposcope into a single portable design. Interestingly, this solution is now 90% cheaper than all other similar solutions that are imported in sub-Saharan Africa. And at this point, it solves many critical problems. First of all, one of which is the lack of enough medical specialists, because at this point, using this solution, no matter where the woman is found, medical data can be collected at the point of care and then sent to a medical specialist who can be found anywhere for instant review and remote diagnosis. And in this scenario, all women can now have access to screening and diagnosis at the point of care in the same communities where they live. This is a $7 billion market targeting cervical cancer, female genital schistosomiasis, and this solution as well spans the global speculum market as well. And interestingly, this solution, apart from the fact that it's cheaper than whatsoever is available in the market, it can work in every setting, particularly in the most remote and enclave areas where this disease burden is highest. And now every woman, no matter where she lives, doesn't need to travel several kilometers to have access to care, but now can benefit from these solutions at the point of care in the same communities where they live. So this is a proprietary solution which is clinically validated. And we've also recorded significant and very interesting results. So far, compared to all other solutions in the market, this device provides the best visibility of the cervix and vaginal walls. It's so far the most comfortable, provides the most comfortable speculum exams, and has been proven to be preferred by almost every woman, the thousands of women so far who have been examined through the solution. It's been powered by a strong and dynamic team made up of individuals from diverse backgrounds, ranging from medicine, engineering, ICT, medical research. But apart from this experience, what is very key about this team is that they master very well the African context where we're trying to deploy this solution. The business model is very simple. On one side, we package reusable components in the form of a kit, which we sell having an interesting margin on it. But also we have a recurring revenue stream on one side, which consists of selling a consumable, which is used every time a woman needs to be examined with our solution, but also getting a cut for all remote examinations that we performed through our platform. And apart from that, as I mentioned, there is a big potential of this solution. On one end, integrating AI to be able to optimize the diagnostic processes for cervical cancer, female genital cystosomiasis, but also leverage on this solution to target the global speculum market, which is really a big market, not only in sub-Saharan Africa, but worldwide. And at this point, we are seeking to raise $1.3 million, which is going to permit us, first of all, navigate regulation, and then strongly engage in manufacturing to be able to bring this solution to every angle where it's going to be needed, starting from Cameroon, where we are based, then to other sub-Saharan African countries where we already have partnerships. So if changing the face of women's health in Africa particularly is something that excites you, please reach out to me. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Conrad. Very interesting indeed. Next is Medsol AI with Catherine Malherbe. So Medsol AI are developing a real-time breast risk detection through imaging. And they're based in South Africa. So Catherine, over to you.
Hi, everyone. I'm just going over to share my screen. Okay. All right, so good day, everyone. I'm representing Medsol AI Solutions. We're based in South Africa. So just giving a little bit of a background of where we come from. As we all know, breast cancer has a high rate of deaths in women. What's most important to know that of all the women that are diagnosed, about 60% of those cases are at advanced stage disease. And this is not because of a lack of empathy or from the clinics that are available, but it's a lack of the infrastructure. 90% of the global disease burden is prescribed to breast cancer, but only 12% of global health spending is actually allocated to it. So what we offer is a point-of-care mobile breast AI solution. It is a deep machine learning artificial neural network AI on an Android app embedded with a Clarius hardware ultrasound probe, and it's able to provide a real-time risk prediction of a breast mass during examination. Also then produces a PDF report, and this changes the way that point-of-care diagnostics. It has an accuracy rate of 97.6%. There are many of these in the market, so the big question is why use us and not the current standard? It's 65% more cost effective, it is more accurate, and it's also able to work offline without Wi-Fi for up to 100 patients. Far-to-reach centers do not have access to basic Wi-Fi and electricity, and our system is able to provide that. From a competitor analysis point of view, if you look at the global landscape, like most breast AI tools, Lunit, iCAD, Koios, Esthetect, all of them are embedded in mammography or ultrasound workflows for a well-resourced radiology department. So it's a great product to have, but it's only if they already have radiologists or they have PACS or national screening programs. Breast AI sits in a completely different space. We're an ultrasound-first, handheld, African-based system designed for nurses and GPs in low-resource clinics, not just specialists in the high-end systems. Also, the fact that it's generating a risk prediction score, it also builds in the referral pathway, who to send to, who to triage the patient to. So it's actually plugging in a whole end-to-end solution. In other words, we're not just deploying another software or another algorithm system, we're actually activating an entire patient journey and treatment follow-up. From a validation point of view, we use over 40,000 histologically confirmed B-mode ultrasound images for our initial dataset training and validation. You can see the breakdown of how that was done. We also made it quite a robust selection for the AI system, various ultrasound vendors, users, various sites, and various demographics. This is also seen by the study that we, or a few of the studies that have now been presented in peer-reviewed journals, which further solidifies that it has clinical validation. Companies we have worked with this far are local district level hospitals, private vendors, and also some franchises across South Africa and Zimbabwe seeking for point of care solutions. We're also in the process of applying for medical scheme approval, so it can also be reimbursed as a procedure code for the private setting. Traction up to date. We've had quite a good partnership with AstraZeneca. We're locally with our regulatory authority. We've been registered, and we are looking at piloting to start an R&B alongside R&B India and One Vision in India. From a financial point of view, we have rapid early stage expansion. Our CAGR is estimated at 88% over the next 6 years, and it's due to our strong KPIs. It's quick, it's accessible, low cost, and mobile solution. From a team point of view, together we hold over 30 years of experience in cloud hosting and data management and software services. Also from a clinical point of view, we also have IP law firm experts for our algorithm patent, and also business and financial partners acting as an exco group. From a global point of view, we are planning to expand for ISO registration and CE marking so we can enter into the global market. For that reason, we are asking for an amount of 2.5 million euro or a crowdfunding method of doing such. Based on our audited financials and our current commercial traction locally, our company holds an estimated value of 1.5 million euros, and it's supported by a strong financial year in 2024. We had over 2,100% year-on-year growth. We are now seeking this funding as it's positioned itself to reach a valuation of up to 74 million euros in the next 6 years. So it offers investors a return on investment of between 3 to 9 times their initial investment. So from an investment point of view, if we're discussing funding of 350,000 euros, safe with a 6 million euro valuation cap and a 20% discount, it means it will opt for a good return on investment, and then we'll be able to scale into our next growth phase. From an exit point of view, we are also open to the product itself, a potential buyout from larger market users through medical aid schemes, and also co-partnering with our second vertical product, Wound AI, for future commercial plans and some of the other things that we have in R&D currently. I hope I stayed within time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Yeah, it's just another example, a little bit like JC Space, right? Developing products for some of the markets where it's more difficult for women to have access to affordable healthcare and then follow up for infrastructure reasons or cultural reasons. So that's amazing what you're doing. Thank you so much. And next one is actually coming back to Switzerland with Curzio Roeg from Xemperia. Who are developing an immune response blood test for breast cancer detection. Curzio, up to you.
Thank you very much. And so I'm Curzio, I'm the CEO of Xemperia, and as you introduced, I'm going to tell you about our test aimed to redefine breast cancer detection. And I would like to thank you, Catherine, that she already introduced the topic. So breast cancer is the #1 cancer worldwide, and just to give some numbers, there are about nearly 2,000 women dying daily of breast cancer. These are just too high numbers. Why is that? And one main issue, one main parameter that determines this survival or not is stage of detection. So late detection is associated with a relatively poor survival, while early detection is associated with a very high survival, so nearly 100% now with current therapies. So early detection saves lives, so that matters. How is this currently done? We already heard from ultrasound, but the standard method now is mammography, which has proven benefit. I mean, all these numbers are actually the survival is actually due currently from mammography, but mammography had also some limitations. So participation, access, and most importantly, you have to see the lesion. I think this is an intrinsic limitation of imaging-based techniques. We took a completely different approach, and we are aiming, or we are based on biology. And what we discovered is that immune cells that are present in the tumor or circulate in the blood actually are modified by the presence of the primary tumor. We were able to extract the RNA expression signature, developed a PCR test, an algorithm which can discriminate patients, women with or without breast cancer, with over 95% accuracy. We can reach nearly 99% sensitivity, which is a big advantage over mammography. And the key word here is that we really exploit the immune system as endogenous receptor, and then we interrogate the immune system. So the value proposition in the clinic or as a screening test. So we aim to bring our test as a first test in the screening cascade. If it's negative, then it can be offered and repeated the following years. If it's positive, then we enter the usual cascade, probably with MRI, ultrasound, and possibly also mammography. So what I would like to stress here is that the test is revolutionary in terms of performance, but it actually does not break the screening pathways, nor it require specialized equipment in laboratory. So it's not disruptive in that sense. In terms of market, I mean, the potential is huge. The breast screening market worldwide, total market is over 4 billion. The addressable market is about 1.2 million with a high 22% growth. And we project to address to obtain about a quarter of this market, so 250 to 300 million a year. And why now? There is a push to non-invasive test. There is a push to go through molecular diagnostic. We have this unique immune signature, so it's a fully new concept. And as we already heard, artificial intelligence is also facilitating data analysis. So I think we have a very good reason to go into market as soon as possible. So with our test traction, we are clear evidence that there is a need and traction for such a test. We have several letters of intent signed by laboratories, by hospital and screening centers. And most importantly, on the right side, leading companies and leading laboratories have expressed strong interest in adopting our test once validated and also helping us during this development. So where are we now? So we are what we call stage 2. Stage 1 was the preclinical development in the lab. Stage 2 was the phase where we developed actually this signature, the test, through a clinical study with 200 women. We patented this biomarker. And now we are in this green zone where we are planning a clinical study, a performance study that will lead to the certification of the test for market entry. So we need to perform this study. We need to develop, finalize the algorithm, the software that will be a cloud-based data processing. And most importantly, we need to collect data for IVDR certification and CE marking in the US, in Europe, and later on FDA in the US. And for this, we need support. We already obtained over 10 million, so 12 million non-dilutive funding before funding the company. So this was the research part. Now we are seeking 500,000 from business angels or family offices, also as a convertible loan, and then 3 million to perform this study. At that point, when the test is finalized, either we scout for exit or we have the exit opportunity with some of the mentioned partners. But we can also leave the option open to develop our distribution chain. And for this, we would need some additional funding. And going to market, if we do it, we'll do it with partner if we don't exit immediately. So this is overall the project. And behind this, we have a team. We have 3 founders, myself, Sarah, and Tuto. We have over 25 years experience in preclinical and clinical research. The team is complemented now by 4 additional people. Thibaut, more operational in the clinical side and regulation, a clinical oncologist, a scientist, 2 scientists actually, with significant experience also in startups. And we have a very, very strong scientific advisory board. Professor Pantel is actually the person who defined the term liquid biopsy and is supporting the project very strongly. So I leave you with this message. Xemperia aims to bring a test for all women, all ages, everywhere, to improve survival quality of life, reduce emotional and social burden, improve health equity and access. I think this is very, very important, especially in countries with no heavy equipment. It will benefit the economy and the healthcare system, and we believe it's a great opportunity for investment at this point in time. I'm done. And if there are investor interest in the project, please get back to us, and we can resume discussion, and happy to provide more details. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you so much, Curzio. And the last one of this panel is Valentina Agudelo from Salva Health, who are developing an AI-powered device that flags high-risk cases, or that flags basically women who have a high risk of developing breast cancer. Salva Health is based in Colombia. Quite interesting story. So from Colombia, but I think they are expanding into Venezuela. So Valentina, the screen is yours.
I'm not sure Valentina is here, but Dani, are you?
Yeah, hello, I'm Dani Gutierrez. Valentina, unfortunately, can't be here, but Maria Alejandra will be joining us instead.
Hello, everyone. How are you? Apologies on the delay. I know that we are right on time, so I'll start right ahead. Let me share my screen so that we can walk you through our pitch. And please let me know once you can see it.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. So we want to start by sharing something alarming. Breast cancer is currently the leading cause of death by cancer amongst women worldwide. And what's even more alarming is that this is worse in developing countries. Unfortunately, the late detection causes the survival rates to drop from 90% to 30%. Early detection saves lives, yet in many regions, access to screening exams is still a luxury due to high cost, requirement of specialized infrastructure or personnel, and even for women that do have physical access, the pain and the general discomfort that we have to endure make it impossible for us to get regular screenings. And that's where our puzzle at Salva began. If women cannot reach the exams, then the exams must reach the women. And with that objective in mind, we created our first product, Julieta, a device that can detect healthy and unhealthy tissue so that we can identify women that are at risk of breast cancer and have them prioritized for proper diagnosis and treatment. Julieta is a breakthrough in accessibility. We eliminate all current access barriers, offering a radiation-free and painless screening with a highly portable, non-invasive device that doesn't require specialized operators because it is powered by AI and that can deliver results in under 5 minutes, which makes it ideal for rural clinics and community healthcare centers. But Julieta's impact is not only clinical. We are transforming the way that the system interacts culturally and operationally. But rather than telling you, we wanted to show you, this is Julieta, this is who we've helped, this is where we've been. This is Julieta in action. We have been working on Julieta for the past 6 years. We have submitted 2 patents. We are in the process of publishing 2 research articles. We have gone through 6 clinical trials. We have gained FDA equivalent approval in Colombia. We are operating in more than 10 cities in our country and expanding in Latin America. Our business model is designed for scalability. We operate under a hardware as a service model where we only charge per screening, and we negotiate directly with payers such as insurers. We then distribute our devices through the healthcare centers that they contract with. This allows us to maintain control of our devices while ensuring that stakeholders have their incentives aligned. We are able to charge as low as $5 per screening, ensuring that Julieta remains profitable, scalable, but most importantly, affordable for the women that need it the most. This model has been validated by multiple stakeholders in Colombia's industry, showcasing Julieta's potential in underserved markets, in multiple segments such as healthcare providers, corporates, etc. We have a management team and a technical team focused on software, hardware, and AI development, as well as a high-level advisory board and group of allies. Julieta is a real solution to a global problem backed by a specialist team and a clear path to scale. I'm Alejandra, Chief Product Officer at Salva Health. Join us so that we can give billions of women the chance to win the battle against breast cancer. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yep, so I will open for questions. Are there any questions? Okay, I will start then. Maybe with Salva Health was the last startup actually. I was wondering, since you operate in a kind of a low resource setting, right? How do you maintain the result quality in your low resource setting, and also with the fact that your operators or the staff have different level of experience?
Yeah, so Julieta was designed. I'll go with the second question first, and then I'll go back to the first. In terms of operators, Julieta was designed so that anyone can operate it. What we do at the moment is we have the hardware, but it is also related to a software that we provided that is very intuitive to use. And alongside this software, we provide a 2-hour training to the personnel provided by Salva's personnel. And afterwards, they are able to operate the device regardless of the setting.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of resources, Julieta was designed in a way that the battery life can last for around 1,000 screenings, just one charge. And also, we don't require Wi-Fi to operate it. What we do is whenever Wi-Fi is available, we provide the result right after the test is completed. The test usually takes around 10 to 12 minutes in total. And whenever there's no Wi-Fi available, what we do is we simply keep that copy locally, and once we have network, we send the results back to the patient.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of resources, the kit is very small, very portable. Julieta can fit in my hand, and everything else we provide to the operators so that they can get Julieta to whatever needed. Not sure if this answered your questions, or if you want to.
Thanks. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. You've had some great success actually, and I was reading that now you're expanding into Venezuela. Any other markets that you're planning to expand to? Obviously, provided you get financed, maybe outside of Latin America.
We are working currently on our FDA approval. We partner with a company that has done this in the past called the Razzi Group. And they're also helping us. For now, we're targeting 7 different markets in LATAM and Central America as well. So looking at fast tracking our entering to these markets, considering that their regulation is somewhat similar to what we already have for Colombia. So we can, in a sense, recycle and speed track our enter based on the documentation that we already have. We are working on FDA, of course, and I mean, the reason why we're doing that is because we know that this is gonna also help us get into other countries faster when we get our FDA approval.
Yeah, great, thank you. I think this partially answers the question from Azadeh, who is asking what are the international regulatory plans for the last 3 products? So last 3 products, so it's probably Julieta and the last and the other 2 startups before, right? I suppose. But for Julieta, I think you have answered. What about Xemperia? Curzio?
Yeah, so I'm back. So I'm not sure I got the question right, but we aim to validate regulatory issues in Europe, so to have a certification in Europe and North America. This is the primary market. Then we leave open for additional market like India, like maybe South America for some countries, and maybe Japan and Korea. So these are kind of, you know, future music, but for us, Europe and North America is the primary goal.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Curzio. Yeah, clear. And maybe also quickly from Catherine, same question, MedSol AI regulatory approval spending or in process?
We are in process. So that's part of the funding that we're trying to acquire now is for ISO to go into the global markets. Interestingly enough, the group that we are speaking to in India, the fact that South Africa and India is under the same BRICS legislation that does actually make regulatory entry easier for us. So from a regulatory point of view, locally, we're registered with our South African Health Regulatory Authority and also ISO 9001, but now we want to push it further into ISO 13845 and CE marking to enter more into the Eastern, Middle Eastern markets.
Okay, clear. Thank you so much. Maybe I'd like to stay here a little bit with you, Catherine, because I also had a question that came to my mind a bit earlier regarding customers. It's more regarding commercialization, actually. And so which customer segment do you see that is converting the fastest for your product? Is it public clinics, hospitals, or private networks, NGOs?
So the current customers that we have, it's a mismatch. It's either standalone general practitioner clinics or clinics that work in a franchise point of view. We also have some tertiary hospitals, district hospitals, specialists. It can actually be used by any form of a specialist, and training is from a registered nurse to a clinical associate to a radiographer or mammographer. We prefer keeping it in the hands of a healthcare professional of some shape or form. I feel it's a safer form because you still want to encourage clinical breast exam alongside the use of it, because that remains the gold standard for initial point of care assessment. And then the amount of patients that have run through our system already is 3,500 patients. And the site that we have it over, it's in South Africa. We've had it at 12 various clinics or sites, and then also 2 sites in Zimbabwe.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Do we have other questions? No? I have one last question. I think we still have a couple of minutes left. The question would be for Ming Wei from Refimmune Biotechnology.
Yes.
Yeah, Ming, I remember in one of the slides, actually, you did mention it very briefly, but I can't remember anymore. So maybe you can walk us through, beyond the ovarian cancer issue, which other tumors, or solid tumors, are next on your roadmap?
Yes, for this, our first product, we can recognize the tumor antigen that express on ovarian cancer, triple-negative breast cancer, and non-small cell lung cancer, as well as the endometrial. So basically, including 38% of the solid tumor by just one product. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions? I think not. Okay, then thank you so much for to everyone. Simone, I'll hand this over to you now.
Okay, I think there is one last question in the chat, maybe for Conrad.
Yeah. GIC Med, how can speculum be obtained?
Is it for purchase, I guess, is the question.
Yeah, I was
Conrad?
wondering as well. Yeah.
So the question is, how can the speculum be obtained?
As in purchasing?
I guess, yeah.
I think the best way is get in contact with me, then we discuss more. Presently, we are only in Cameroon, but we are speaking with anyone, anywhere who is interested. So I think if we can have a chat after that, then it can be more interesting then.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you, Elena, for moderating this session. And Ivanka had to leave early, but I thank her as well. And I thank all the presenters and investors in the room. If you want to get in touch with any of the founders, let me know. I'm happy to make a personal intro. You have the brochure, and yes, I invite you to also attend the closing conference December 4th. And hope you have a lovely end of the day, depending on the time zone, or evening for most of us. But thank you for joining today.
Thank you for organizing, Simone.
Thank you, Simone.
Thank you, Simone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.